Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into a genuinely exciting new local tool that is, quite frankly, going to completely change how we use AI for coding. If you spend any time building or hardening complex systems on your machine, you already know that AI can be an absolute lifesaver, but also incredibly frustrating. So we're going to explore a framework called Kibitz that aims to fix that exact problem once and for all.
Let's start with a problem literally every single developer faces. Are you tired of AI just flat out hallucinating your code? You know the drill. You hit a bug, copy a tiny snippet, and paste it into your AI chat. The AI fires back super confidently with this brilliant-looking fix. You paste it into your IDE, hit run, and total crash. It gives you code that simply doesn't work because it completely lacks the full context of your project. It's basically just making blind guesses. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll hit 1, the AI context problem, 2, meet your multi-agent panel, 3, the 4-round review arc, 4, setting up Kibitz locally, and 5, keeping your code safe. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the AI context problem, pasted snippets versus full repositories. We've really got to understand why our current AI workflow is so broken, right? Especially when you're trying to harden something super intricate, like those massive multi-file ComfyUI workflows on Windows. The old way literally forces you to manually paste these isolated snippets. The AI has absolutely no idea what your database schema looks like or what custom nodes you've got installed. But the Kibitz way, it grants the AI read access to your entire local repository. It generates this local profile overlay that auto-detects your setups, probes local ports, inventories your files, the whole shebang. Suddenly, the AI actually understands how absolutely everything in your environment connects. It's a real game changer.
Moving on to Section 2, meet your multi-agent panel, the independent peer review.
Okay, I want you to think of Kibitz less like a standard coding assistant and more like a rigorous, independent academic peer review board. Kibitz is a local skill that actively utilizes independent model families, and the design goal here is model family diversity rather than just blind loyalty to one brand. We're talking OpenAI's Codex, Google's Anthropic, and Anthropic's Claude. And honestly, the best part, it uses the local CLI logins you probably already have set up. There are absolutely no new API keys required. It uses these different AI families to vigorously cross-examine your code and completely eliminate those frustrating hallucinations.
Now, this is a highly structured workflow. In step 1, your active driver, let's say you're using Claude, writes a baseline grounded anchor review. In step 2, Kibitz fans out to the other reviewer lanes, like Codex and anti-gravity. Step 3 is where the magic really happens. Those reviewers independently critique the driver's plan against your entire repository. Finally, in step 4, the active driver steps up as a judge. It takes all that feedback, checks it against your actual local files, and just mercilessly throws out any false claims made by the other models. The true value proposition here is getting a real multi-system second opinion that literally can't bluff because they actually read the code. That right there is crucial. When the models know they are being fact-checked against the real files actually sitting on your hard drive and cross-examined by competing AI families, you finally get an unbluffable second opinion. Section 3, the 4-round review arc, moving from the big picture to the wiring. When you point Kibitz at a plan or a spec, it executes this really brisk, fixed 4-round arc. Round 1 looks at the big picture. Does the overall approach actually hang together? Round 2 examines the coding plan. Is this realistically buildable with our current codebase? Round 3 gets right down into the wiring. Do all the pieces connect and sequence correctly? And then round 4 is a final safety pass to ask, hey, is anything still broken? And what's great is that every single accepted and rejected suggestion is cleanly saved locally in a Kibitz runs folder. So you always have a perfect, transparent audit trail of the AI's entire decision-making process. Next up, Section 4, setting up Kibitz locally, getting your machine ready. If you're excited to try this out, the good news is the setup is incredibly straightforward, especially if you're on Windows, which is where it's primarily tested. First, you absolutely must have Python 3.9 or higher installed, because Kibitz relies heavily on Python's built-in tools. Then, you're going to need the CLIs for the model families. You need the scoped OpenAI/Codex CLI. And hey, make sure it's the scoped one, not that ancient 2012 package. You also need the Google Anti-Gravity CLI, which is often abbreviated as just Aggie, and the Claude Code CLI. You'll just need to run each of these once on your machine to sign in with your existing accounts. Here is the absolute easiest path to get this running. Step 1, open your preferred host assistant and paste the provided setup prompt.
It automatically tells your AI to install the skill and all those CLIs we just talked about. Step 2, simply sign into each CLI using your accounts. Step 3 is vital. Run the built-in scripts/doctor.py file. This script runs a quick pre-fight check to verify your environment. If everything is perfect, it'll print this bright green ready status. Oh, and by the way, if you only have one agent installed, the doctor script will actually tell you that you can still run it, just with the degraded one agent panel.
All right, Section 5, keeping your code safe, sandboxes and work trees. Okay, before you just let multiple AI agents run loose on your repository, we really need to have a serious, deliberate discussion about safety. The crucial point here is understanding exactly what these agents are technically allowed to do on your machine. Now, the Codex lane is beautifully safe. It is strictly read-only. However, to hand off the reviews, both the anti-gravity and Claude code lanes have a write-approved file handoff. Anti-gravity runs without a sandbox, and Claude is restricted to read, glob, grep, and write. Because they can technically touch your disk, you've got to be smart about this. If you're feeding an untrusted input, use a throwaway Git worktree, a disposable copy of your repo. And no matter what, always, always keep your repository cleanly committed to Git before running Kibitz. If an agent ever makes a stray at it, having that clean Git history lets you undo it instantly with just a single command.
And that brings us to the end of our breakdown today. So I have to ask, what ComfyUI workflow are you going to harden first with Kibitz? I mean, now that you have this unbluffable multi-agent panel sitting right there on your local machine, ready to cross-examine and ground every single line of code against your actual files, the possibilities are just massive. You finally have the tools to demand better, hallucination-free code from your local AI. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy coding.